here. So let's waste some gold. Love playing Combray. I think Enlightened Stranger is not as good as Student, but I still really like it. It's going to be hard to sell me off of that. Yeah, I love Enlightened Stranger. I love Combray. Praxis Displacer is sweet. There's also a Hatchling, which is pretty strong. Not going to take Secret Pages, not going to take Forsworn Stranger. Stonescar Banner. Acolyte's fine. Stonescar Magus is fine. And these cards are all good and fine. But I like me a Enlightened Stranger. Nothing really to follow that up with, save some Valkyrie Wings. Well, I'm going to take the Valkyrie Wings here because it's the best card and also in our colors. I mean, only one card is missing from this pack, and it is a rare card or an uncommon card. But I'm not too upset here that the pack seems to be a little bit sparse for the combination that we want to play, but it is something kind of to keep in mind. Here we've got a lot more Combray cards, Huru Fledgling, Valkyrie, Aspirant, Dispel. There's also some good Felon cards and a Stonescar card to boot. So, looks like all the colors are still relatively open, though the most powerful card has surely got to be Polymorph here. Would I want to potentially facilitate a splash? Well, maybe I would. I don't really care about Valkyrie, Aspirant, or Huru Fledgling. Maybe I just take a Polymorph as a potential splash here. Nesting Avasaur, also a good splash, though so is Hatchling. Can't really splash the Wings. Could splash the Stranger. But, I mean, clearly there is nothing for me in this pack for Combray. So I either have to take a Hatchling or an Avasaur. I don't actually know which one's better. I feel like it might just be Hatchling, though. Alright, I'm going to take Hatchling, and we'll see. Alright, Wasp can go in either direction. Seek Power is also pretty good to have access to, but I'm just going to grab a Wasp. It's a solid removal spell regardless of what we wind up in. Stonescar Maul is the best card in this pack by far, but I guess I will just take a Minotaur Grunt. Don't really like Backlash in Draft. Granted, Acolyte also good, but clearly we're not in the colors for it. Alright. More Elysian cards. Stormlinks, Sky Snapper. I guess I'll take Stormlinks. And then Teleport or Terrazon. I'm fine with the Terrazon. I think this card... So I just played a bunch of Sealed over the weekend with the new Magic set, Amonkhet, and just playing some Sealed. Maybe it's just from this set, but playing some Sealed just reminded me how good a beefy creature like this is, and Time does to have the best rate of beef. Herald Song, meh. Wisdom of the Elders, meh. Alchemical Blast. Alchemical Blast. Oh no, Alchemical. It is Alchemical. Okay. Kinda meh. I'm going to take Wisdom. It's just the best card. Maybe we're just going to wind up Elysian at this point. I'm not too sure. I think daggers are fine. I guess I'll take a Jotun Warrior. Not happy about it. Not happy about a Pilfer either. What do we have now? Okay. Some pretty solid cards. Chakram, sweet. No way we're playing Chakram. False Prince is good. Savant is really good. A 1 mana cost removal spell is real good, though. Predator's Instinct is also potentially a 1 mana cost influence, or a 1 mana cost kill spell, and there's 2 fixers here. But, gotta go with Permafrost, I think. Even if Primal winds up being a splash, we're gonna want those 1 mana cost removal spells. And then I'm gonna go a little bit more back into Combray here. I'm really gonna try to make Combray Splash Primal work in this draft, and I think we can make it work because Awakened Student is just so strong. I do also want to keep in mind Strangers are good right now. So Strangers, especially ones that can fix my mana, are really good. Static Bolt's good, but I think I do just want to consider my mana problems that I might have here. Don't want Minotaur Grunt. I don't even like having one, but I will play the one if we need to. But getting a Combray Banner to fix our mana, that's going to be really helpful. Bold Adventurer is good. Crown Watch Paladin is okay, but like, I don't know. The Elysian, I just love primal cards, man. And Cobalt Acolyte is so good. So I'm going to take it. It's really good with like Towering Terrazon and that, obviously. Flying Aegis Lifesteal, all pretty good stuff. Can't play Grim Stranger in this deck. No way. Just not going to happen. Serpent Trainer, maybe. I definitely want to play Towering Terrazon, though. So I don't know if I'm going to play Serpent Trainer, but I'm definitely going to play Towering. Awakened Student, Combray Banner. I'm just going to take all Awakened Students. Like, this card's just fantastic. If you can draw it and play it early, it's just insane. This card's really good, but here I have the opportunity to pick up a Stranger, which is great, that will fix our mana, which is great. So I think I have to do that. And then another Awakened Student. Well, that's what I came here to draft. So I am going to take every Awakened Student I see. I am going to take it over Karmic Guardian. This card's just fantastic. Stalwart Shield, we can put that on a student. Sounds good to me. What do we have here? Lumen Defender, I like a whole bunch. And it might be the best card in the pack. Soaring Stranger's pretty good. Part of the reason that you take Cobalt Acolyte is to just give this Enlightened Stranger flying, or one of these Awakened Students flying, and send them in there. Lumen Defender, however, pretty solid card. Regardless, I'm going to cut that double blue. I'm going to probably keep Cobalt Acolyte, probably cut Stormlinks. We'll see how much mana fixing we get. Our deck looks really solid right now, though. Soaring Stranger is a really, really good card. So I don't mind picking that up. But Lumen Defender can get you out of just a lot of hairy situations with that gain 5 life. Zen Guardian, also obviously really good. But yeah, let's just grab a Lumen Defender. I'm fine with that. Crystallize, that's quite the splash. Crystallize is insane. But I don't think I can splash it here. I think I'm going to take a Permafrost. Maybe that's nutty. But I'm thinking if I can just take out their best guy and then just ensure that I've got the mana to cast an Awakened Student on turn 2 or 3 every game, that's going to work out a little bit better for us. So, take another Permafrost. One is animated, one is not. Safe Return, Zen Guardian, Tinker Apprentice, Static Bolt. All solid cards. I really like me a Lumen Defender, though. I'm going to take Lumen Defender. Ice Sprite. Man, we've been seeing some really powerful cards this draft. And Ice Sprite is really strong. My thinking is that I might just want to fix my mana here, though. I think I'm going to be okay for playables, especially being in 3 colors that are all clearly open in this portion of the draft. Let's take a Combray Banner. Take another Cobalt Acolyte to get in there late game. Don't really want an Aerial Ace. Don't want a Rebuke. I'm going to rare draft here. Combray Stranger seems good. There's a Violent Gust as well, but I don't need that. Alright, our first Teleport. Also good. Another Combray Stranger. Alright, well now I'm feeling good about our mana. Because now, if we can go turn 2 Combray Stranger, we can play turn 2 Awakened Student, then play a Sigil, and it's like we didn't even miss a beat. And all these Combray Strangers are also really good, considering I have an Enlightened Stranger. I can almost just be Elysian now and splashing Combray with my Strangers and Banners. Which, hey, maybe that's actually what I want to do. I wouldn't put it past me. What do we have here? Well, we've got a big, beefy Throne Warden to sit at the top of the curve. We've got an Amber Acolyte to help fix our mana. We've got a Lightning Strike, and we've got a Recurring Nightmare. It would be a little bit of a sell at this point. So I think we're going to go for Lightning Strike or Amber Acolyte. I'm going to shy away a little bit from the double green in Throne Warden. I know Valkyrie Wings is also double green, and Throne Warden is basically a Lumen Defender, in that it is a 5-drop that gains you some life and can trade off with something big, but don't think it's what I want to go for. Lightning Strike's better early game, and then kind of trails off. I think I'm going to go for Amber Acolyte. Just fix the mana and win the game. Unlock potential Roland's Honor Guard. Alright, well this is obviously a double Justice influence that I don't mind playing in the deck because this card is just so strong. I think it's better than unlocking my potential. I think I unlock more potential with this deck by taking a huge monster to top off the curve. Stone Scar is obviously the two colors that we are not. I have enough of these for constructed purposes. Hero of the People is a sweet one. Dormant Sentinel is probably not where I want to be. I always look at Dormant Sentinel compared to Towering Terrazon, and while yes, it's good, it's also 2 mana up on the Terrazon. Hero of the People I don't actually think is even that great in this deck. It's obviously good with Roland's Honor Guard, give it flying and lifesteal. Alright, I'll take it, I think, but I'm not super excited to try to put that into our deck. Privilege of Rank, meh. Let's take another Stranger. Bloodright Callous is sweet, and I don't own any, but I'm going to focus on this draft first and foremost, and then we'll see what else happens. Silverwing Avenger. Is this a card worth splashing? Probably. But I'm not sure. Just don't think I need Argenport Soldier, so I guess I take this. Because, yeah, this deck just doesn't need an Argenport Soldier. We've got a lot of 2-drops. I'm going to take an Elysian Stranger. Now I kind of wish I could give my Strangers flying. But Awakened Student, great pickup there. I do really like Auric Sentry. I do like this card. It is a 3-drop, and our 3s are kind of crowded, though I'd rather have an Auric Sentry than a Sky Snapper in this type of deck. Predator's Instinct, also not that bad, but I don't think we need it. Sure, I'll take a Rakano Stranger. Maybe it winds up being relevant. District Infantry, probably not going to play in this style of deck as well. Alright, so let's go through everything and just see if there's any cards that I neglected to put in. Oh, I didn't draft a single fire card. That's neat. No, it doesn't look like it. Maybe Wisdom. How many? 5 Awakened Students. That's good. That's got to be so good. And look at all this Stranger Danger. Cool, cool, cool. How many cards are we looking at here? 39. Well, go ahead and cut Blast. It's a little bit mediocre. And cut Minotaur Grunt at this point, too. And then we're looking to cut... Right now we're sitting on exactly 10 lands. We probably want to play something I don't know, something in the realm of 18, I'd have to imagine. Here of the People just really doesn't look like it's shining in this deck. It is animated, so it is shining in that way. Why Stranger over Wyvark? I will be honest, I missed it. If I picked a Rakano Stranger over the Wyvark, I don't really remember it. Yeah. 5 Awakened Students is kind of the name of the game here. I think I'm going to cut Wisdom of Elders. I think I would have played Wyvark had I seen it, but Wisdom I don't think I need as a double sigiled card. Same thing, might cut Silverwing Avenger. And I think I'm going to cut Hero of the People as well. So where does that put us? That puts us at 13 lands. Right? Yeah. 13 lands. Maybe just don't need Stormlinks. It's never going to be a combat trick if the other stuff is on the ground. Like, I just have so many 2-drops. I've got 11 2-drops. And I do want to fit in the room for lands, because every time I hit a land drop, I grow my team a little bit more. Oh, I took an Elysian Stranger over it? Yeah, I just wasn't paying enough attention. I apologize. I like the Stalwart Shield, putting that on an Awakened Student. It also plays against opposing Permafrost. I can probably cut these daggers. I think I'd rather just draw a land than a dagger. Like, a land probably represents at least +2/+2, where a dagger represents minimum +2/+2. I think Auric Sentry is fine, and Loyal Watchwing is fine. Both of them are, yeah, I guess Loyal Watchwing is only a common. Right now we're at 15 lands. Could cut Stalwart Shield, but I think it's a reasonably okay card. I do really like Valkyrie Wings. Just like the Cobalt Acolytes, it's going to be able to break through in the late game and let us swing over for some damages. Amber Acolyte is just a sigil on a stick, so no sense getting rid of that, really. Scorpion Wasp is a removal spell. The Hatchlings are a little bit mediocre, but they're also kind of just flyers that might be able to get in there. They're decent against... what's the 1-mana 2/2 in Feln? Yeah, Rakano Stranger is maybe not great. My mana's going to be really good. The reason I'm considering Rakano Stranger is because I do have Enlightened Stranger. And we're kind of just an Awakened Student deck. But maybe Rakano Stranger isn't quite pulling his weight. So how many more cards do I want to cut here? I want to cut probably 3 more cards. So I guess when you put it that way, I kind of just have to cut stuff. I have to cut, like, a Terrazon, a Rakano Stranger, and the Hatchlings. Yes, Twilight Raptor. Thank you, Mana Nurse. Hatchling is good against a Twilight Raptor deck, and I've seen some aggressive Feln decks. Cobalt Acolyte, I mean it can trade with it, but there's also Stalwart Shield, which is a potential cut. I mean, we've got a lot of Strangers already. We've got 5. And we've only got 1 Stranger Matters card. Alright, maybe it's a little bit mediocre. We'll cut that. The Combray Strangers I do like, and the Elysian Strangers help fix our mana. At some point I am curious if I should be playing Whispers. Or, I'm sorry, Wisdom. If I should be playing Wisdom again. There's also a Stormlynx. I don't think we need that. Like, with 2 Elysian Strangers and an Amber Acolyte, maybe I can support it. And if you consider the fact that it's a late game card, drawing 2 cards might just be better than something like Stalwart Shield in the late game. So if I cut Shield, where does that put me at? Right now I'm at 16 lands. Cut Watchwing. Cutting another Stranger also isn't unreasonable. The question then is, which Stranger do I cut? Do I cut the Stranger that helps facilitate a splash of Wisdom? I could definitely see cutting Watchwing, though. It is pretty solid early game. But maybe I just don't really need it. 17 lands could cut a Terrazon as well, could cut Wisdom. Though I like Wisdom when we're playing 18 lands. So maybe I can just cut another Stranger. I kind of like that idea. Which one do I cut? Well, kind of just need the double time a little bit more, so I think it would have to be Elysian Stranger that gets cut. Even though we do have the Combray banners. So this would give us an 18 land deck that I think is pretty strong. Yes, I agree. I agree for sure, Mana Nurse. So let's put in Wisdom so that we can draw it. We're cutting a little bit of our blue to help facilitate that. But we've got Amber Acolyte. We don't need to play Wisdom of Elders turn 3. We can play Wisdom of Elders like turn 8, and it's still pretty good. I feel like I can make these a little bit more balanced and we don't get too punished for this, though. Like, we have 5 cards that if we draw them, auto let us play the Student. Combray Stranger and Combray Banner auto let us play the Student on turn 2. And we do have a decent amount of Primal. We're pretty evenly split. And cutting the Stranger, so I think I want one more Primal Sigil. Is this enough time? Think so with the Combray banners and all of the Strangers add time. We also never need double time. We just need it turn 2, so we need it just as much as we need Justice. Alright, let's try this. I'm going to change the stream title here. And let's give this a shot. This is exactly what I wanted to play. There is a video up on my YouTube channel of another draft where I just drafted 5 Awakened students, and it's just fantastic. This is, I mean, it's already a 3/3 with flying. Two Combray and 2 Elysian could be better. I really am not sure if it's just better to guarantee me playing this Awakened student on turn 2, or if it's better to help facilitate the blue splash. But I decided to go 3-1 and then put in an extra Justice Sigil. But I'm not sure. This is going to die to Torch regardless. Though I guess if I play this, I'll block.
We learned what we must.
Sure. 3 instead of 1 could be better, but it's not strictly better. The question is, what do you want more of, time or sorry, justice or primal?
Mind over body.
My opponent didn't attack. So that means they don't have a combat trick or don't have a combat trick they want to use. Or have a hand that's struggling a little bit and they're not sure how long they'll survive. There was no reason for me to play this Awakened Student pre-combat. I didn't think I was going to attack, but then I kind of realized that I could. And the fact that my opponent didn't attack or didn't trade. Oh, Piercing Shot. That's a good call, Mana Nurse. Yeah, in my head I was thinking like Static Bolt potential still too. There are definitely effects in the game that deal 2, but yeah, there's effects in Rakano even that deal 2 damage. Not that I think Static Bolt is like super common. Time Sigil. Ooh, baby, a Sigil. So they can double block and trade with me here. Don't think they're going to. Don't think they're going to block that either. Really have no intention of blocking with my Awakened Student ever. There's just so many effects that could kill it, and I mean, look at this hand. We've got a Cobalt Acolyte, a removal spell, and a 6/6 flying lifesteal. The fact that we have a 6/6 flying lifesteal means that I can afford to be a little bit expendable with this Awakened Student, but we don't have to either. Alright, that's a pretty big monster. And now we know what my opponent's up to. It's going to give him a Warcry. We can polymorph that. Well, polymorph plus Primal Sigil is actually kind of reasonable. The Morningstar will stay on it, so it will be a 4/4 with Warcry. Or, I'm sorry, a 4/4 with Overwhelm. We're also just potentially winning this race. Definitely want to get in with my student here, considering I don't want to block with it. I'll consider a double block on the Rakano Outlaw. Yeah, I think my opponent is just leaving this stranger here to eventually chump block my guy. So it only gives it -1/-1, but it means that my 2/2s can trade with it. It also means that my Wasp can trade with it. It may have just been better to save the polymorph for whatever my opponent Warcried, but they only got 1 Warcry trigger. It's unlikely that it's that game-breaking of a card that they get to Warcry on. Even like a big weapon, I'm probably okay from here. Mithril Mace doesn't kill my student.
I shall give you a swift death.
Alright, charge quick draw. A little bit annoying. At some point, I'm just going to want to keep this stranger back. My opponent's been tapping out every turn and pretty clearly representing that they don't have any type of trick up their sleeve. Though, I can also just Cobalt Acolyte this next turn, start getting in for 6, and then try to trade off with this stranger. I think I'm going to go for a double block. Going for a double block while your opponent is tapped out is also pretty safe. Opponent also didn't attack with their charge guy because I could have double blocked the charger. That's pretty interesting. Okay, let's go Awakened Student.
Take to the skies.
Let's take this to the skies and smack for 5. pretty beefy monster right here my opponent's attacking with. But I can pretty safely take 4 and just trade off with this guy. Especially with no endurance or potential post-combat plays. That's a pretty decent draw. But even right now... Oh, it does have endurance. Right, the shield gave it endurance. If I draw a sigil next turn, though, it's lethal. So, just have to get in for 5 and then 6 while chump blocking with some hatchlings. Guess I don't really even have to chump block with a hatchling here either, though. What could they have? What could they have? I have a kill spell for this. I'd want to chump block with the student before I chump block with hatchling. Kill this, I swing for 4. I can't think of any reason to, but I also can't think of any reason not to. So, I'm going to chump block and save myself some life points here. My opponent could, like, I don't know, if they've got a 7-point burn spell and a 7-point burn spell, I'm dead regardless. Had lethal in the air regardless. Let's see what my opponent comes up with here. Probably a kill spell for the hatchling, which isn't enough. You and your units are invulnerable to damage this turn. Okay. Alright, that'll do it. How many more times do they need to fog me before they are not dead? I'm gonna say no blocks here. Ooh, is this a mistake? Sure, they're gonna trade that in for a burn spell. They're still 7 points off lethal. No, they are 4 points off lethal. Good game, my friend. That would have been pretty close if I had taken the 4 last turn and this turn. That's pretty funny.
I will give my life for his.
There we go. A little bit of BM, but show our opponent what we're working with here. And Enlightened Student gets there. Wait, is it Awakened Student or Enlightened Student? It is Awakened Student. Okay. My fault. Awakened Student gets there. Enlightened Stranger? Is that why I'm making the mistake? I'm not sure what the stranger's name is. Double Awakened Student, 1 Primal Mana. That's a redraw. Elysian Student and Combray Stranger, or I'm sorry, Elysian Stranger and Combray Stranger. Both will let us play the Auric Sentry. The mana is fine with this hand. Let's just play our cards.
We learned what we lost.
Want to get this Warcry guy on the battlefield as soon as possible here. And hopefully he can start doing stuff. I was going to say Wisdom of the Elders is a pretty solid draw here, considering we already have our double primal. And even though I said it's not really a turn 3 play, I think I am going to run it out there turn 4, because the sooner we draw our students, the more just information that we'll have to go on here. So I'm going to hold back on playing this Primal Sigil, because next turn I can go Awaken Student, play a land, pump it up, and play a Combray Stranger. So just make sure we get all these triggers here. We also put all of our Warcries into whatever is currently our top card.
We learned what we lost.
In 2 turns, next turn we get to go Amber Acolyte, Elysian Stranger. Actually, I'm just going to keep open Teleport mana. My opponent very well could have a Lightning Strike here. Or my opponent could be doing nothing while we get to kill them.
Travels, friend.
I'm telling you guys, Awakened Student, better than Torch. Card is just fantastic. Alright, they're going to stun 2 dudes. I'll allow it. If they play that 3/3 that lets them kill stunned guys, well, then I'll teleport.
Take it to the skies.
Sure, skies are theirs. Oh, goody! Oh, that's pretty insane. That is a pretty insane card to echo. I have 1 echo card in my entire deck and 1 Warcry card in my entire deck. But hey, if they want to show up together, more power to them. Yeah, how does my opponent beat that? Yeah, that was a pretty nasty one. My opponent would have had to block the Stranger next turn, and then the Awakened Student next turn, and they still would have taken 15. So I don't think they were getting out of that one. I was debating if I should Warcry before drawing 2 cards. Turns out I got pretty rewarded for that seemingly, well, not seemingly random play, that actually just random turn of events. I will redraw this. Let's look for an Awakened Student. There she is, but I don't have the time sigils. That's fine. We still have some time to find it here. I'm sure I am the 8 millionth eternal player to make that joke ever, but I'm sure it's probably the 8 millionth time that I've made that joke, to be honest, too.
I'll find my
Alright, Bold Adventure. Yeah, Time Sigil. A little bit awkward here. I am just going to go and play Oryx Century now.
I stand ready.
Because playing Awakened Student without a trigger doesn't actually even give us anything. And this at least gives us some Warcry.
We all change.
Felon Stranger's no problem. I can attack and do a double block. And we've got Permafrost already for whatever big monster they might play. Sure, do whatever you want, guy. I'm just getting my Warcry.
Mind over body.
And we've got the double Justice, and we've got the double time. So we missed 1 trigger off this Awakened Student and potentially some damage. But ultimately, this worked out very, very well for us. I can't stun this, which is pretty unlucky. I can give this flying, though, which seems rather good. I'm going to go ahead and start things off here with a Primal Sigil. This allows us to next turn play Wisdom into Cobalt Acolyte, which I think just buys us the most potential value on curve here. I think I want a Wisdom next turn regardless. I'm not in any real rush here. Alright, well, Nesting Avasaur. Eventually my opponent might muck up the skies for us too, but hopefully Awakened Student can take down some of that sky pressure. Primal Sigil's a great draw. That means I can Wisdom with no fear. Combray Stranger, Justice Sigil. Okie dokie. Let's give our student flying.
skies.
Learn to fly, my friend. And bash for 5. We could also turn this into just a Warcry trigger eventually if we want to. Don't think we need to, though. Alright, well, this looks like a double block. And I feel like I want to permafrost this. Yeah. Don't think I'm going to get too much better value for a permafrost than a card that my opponent nesting Ava Sword to make cheaper.
They're coming!
Alright, my opponent gave the top card of their deck Echo. We drew an Awakened Student. We're clearly going to want to crash for 6. I think I'm just going to want to play a Roland's Honor Guard. Smash for 6. The trick, though, is 7 plus 7 is lethal. I'm going to go for 7 plus 7 here. My opponent is going to chump block that because that is a decent amount more damage. And Dark Return on the Avasaur as another chump blocker. But that's all they're doing here is buying themselves some time with some chump blocks. So let's see. We've got 4 ground guys. They've got 4 ground guys. Nope. We're hitting them for 6. That's all we're doing. Actually just going to hang on to these Awakened Students. I don't think they do us any good on the battlefield. I guess maybe that was wrong. If we drew a Sigil, we could potentially attack with some more things. Another Dark Return for my opponent. Plus they got whatever their echoed creature is, and they can put it back on top to echo again. Good game, my friend. But that is not going to be enough to keep them in it here. So Krusty Toes, if you are watching, it's just easier to respond to chat. If you do want to let me know if you are able to get in chat at any point, I'll keep this, because it's got a Comber Surger. I mean, the mana's perfect, right? So we're a little light on mana, but the hand seems perfect. Yeah, it's just easier for me to respond with my voice rather than typing some stuff up while everybody watches here. Wonder Ben, I do hope that fortune smiles on us both here, my friend. Come on, Sigil.
We shall find the way.
There we go, baby. Oh, this man is so perfect, too. Alright, I am going to run out the Awakened Student, and we'll smash for 2. I'll do it in the completely wrong order again, because why the hell not? It's like kind of a habit from Magic the Gathering Online, and maybe Hearthstone a little bit, in that the digital games, a lot of times it's just faster to play out your stuff before combat.
Close your eyes.
Alright, my opponent's got a blocker, and we've got ourselves a game here.
I stand ready.
I'll attack next turn with it. I don't need to attack this turn. My opponent's just going to block. Especially if I play my guy pre-combat. But my opponent should block 100% there, because there's no reason for me to trade a +3/+3 effect for my opponent's Combray Healer. Cobalt Acolyte would be great here. Awakened Student seems decent too. I think I just want to start getting in damage. I can also start attacking with Auric Sentry here, especially because my opponent's tapped out. So I can go Cobalt Acolyte, swing out. Only thing I don't want to do is trade my Awakened Student for the Amber Acolyte.
Take it to the skies.
But this attack looks great now. So now we've got our opponent on a definite clock. We are war crying our deck. We are also live if we draw any sigils here too. All right, our opponent is going to start making their own brand of student stew. I don't know what the hell that means.
Mind over body.
I will say our opponent is on a 5-turn clock here, and a Scorpion Wasp backup makes me feel pretty safe. Not that my opponent can really have any good attack here. They're just trying to prevent my Auric Sentry from attacking. They could attack if they've got a Primal Strength, or whatever Giant Growth is referred to in this game.
Time to reflect.
Alright, that's a pretty good one. Looks like it got one trigger. I'm not totally sure how the animation with this works, but looks like it got one trigger. The Lumen Defender is, like, pretty fantastic, too. And we're almost at a 3-turn lethal. We probably are going to be able to kill my opponent in 3 attacks. Yeah, we can hit him for 6 next turn, and then 7 the following turn. Meanwhile, we're at 30. My opponent's going to need a harsh rule, really, to get out of this, I think. I mean, a big flyer's good, but Amber Acolyte, now we just go and get ourselves a Time Sigil just to balance it out. And now I've got a 7/7 flyer. Yeah, this doesn't seem great for my opponent. Do you chump block a 7/7? You can't. My opponent's going to have to... they're going to have to double block it. Okay, that's going to buy him some time, too. So Scorpion Wasp kills them in 6 turns. If I just start attacking with it. Sure. Scorpion Wasp aggro.
We learned what we lost.
There's a lot of kill spells my opponent could have for Scorpion Wasp. It's going to be a lot easier for them to deal with that. My opponent is stopping us here with a Storm Dancer pumped by a Gemblade, pumped by Ageless Mentor, which is all pretty crazy. Alright, there goes the Wasp. It's a 1-for-1 trade. It's fine. Good game, my friend. Teleport. Awakened Student. And that'll do it in. Cool. You know what? I actually do have just a very easy tip for Crusty Toes here, and that is just draft Awakened Student. Wink face. Perfect. And let's take a look at this one. No Awakened Student. Okay mana, but I'm going to ship it. This hand looks really solid. I'll play around Piercing Shot with it next turn. Do need to remember to play the Justice Sigil.
We shall find the way.
So you potentially throw away 1 point of damage by playing like this, because now like I can't attack with this into that. You also throw away 1 Awakened Student trigger. Well, that's fine. You know, I kind of just want to permafrost this guy.
Mind over body.
It's going to let us get in for 2. Though we could have attacked first, I suppose. But, yeah, I just kind of don't want to deal with a Desperado. The guy could be a lot of trouble. Uh-oh. No Dark Return? Alright. No Dark Return just yet, but it could be coming.
Mind we must.
Continue to play out our strangers here. I think we can just start attacking. And is my opponent going to settle for a 3-3? No, they're going to go for a 5-5, potentially 7-7. They're going to go for a 7-7. Alright, so Permafrost is good. Deadly Ambush, also pretty strong. We'll see how all that shakes up. For right now, just a Wisdom should be good. I could have waited, but I want to hit land drops with Student in play, so it's fine. Good triple block there. Trade Student plus Stranger for Beast. But the fact that they've now shown that they are willing to attack with it is pretty good for us. Death Strike on this guy. Cool. That means, or that shows why they were willing to attack there. And I'm just going to trade off a Wasp for a Beast. Opponent is out of quick spells. My opponent's got a lot of different colors of mana, and that explains it there. Still beating them pretty hard on field. We're going to have 3 monsters bigger than this pretty soon. We already have 1, so it already can't do too much. Alright, looks like it's a Stranger off here. I think I would trade... Well, at this point I could just trade 2 small Strangers off for the Forsworn Stranger, so I don't have to.
You aren't welcome here.
Frostkin on this. I'd have to imagine. Yeah, that's fine. Still leaves me with a pretty big dude. And now, I mean, that was the only trade I was ever going to make for that card.
I will give my life for his.
I'm going to wait till the Awakened Student trades are a little bit better, though. 2 for 1? I changed my mind. 2 for 1's pretty good. I'll snap it off. The other thing is that's not going to get better till I hit 2 more land drops. And this will let my Terrazon attack next turn. Terrazon's already better than Awakened Student and is going to continue to be better than Awakened Student for a little bit right now. Well, that was a great draw. That's going to make my opponent explode. And that is 4-0, I believe, with 5 Awakened Students. No, that's 5-0. Because that's what Awakened Students do. They win games. 5-0, 5 Awakened Students. Let's do it up here. Keep it going. I've been telling you guys, this is exactly what I want to do in draft. And this draft, it potentially came together more than any other because the Elysian was there. And the Elysian was tempting me into wanting to just draft all those sick primal cards as it is wont to do. But I persevered. I said, you know what? No. I'm going to take Mana Fixing. I am going to take some of those sweet Elysian cards because I can't resist. I'm only human after all. What's up, Strax? How you doing? Got a pretty solid start here that you just joined us on. 5-0 with 5 Awakened Students. I'm hoping that by the end of today, I can be top 100 in draft and be able to put that on my digital resume. And then I'm only gold 3 right now, so I think we are a little bit away in ranked from reaching top 100. But I've got a deck that I really like, and it's top tier. I don't want to play Burn. I could just craft Burn Queen or something if I really want to go nuts. I'm going to redraw this and look for an Awakened Student. quite. Ugh, this hand's pretty poor. I have one card that I'm actually just never going to play, and another card that's fine late game, and then a bunch of mana.
The price of progress. The price of progress.
Alright, my opponent is price of progressing us here. Drawing one blue mana is pretty good. If we can draw another one, that's even better. We'll see what my opponent's 3-drop is. Argenport Soldier. Looks like I'm playing defense here then. Though, if I Cobalt Acolyte this, that stops a lot of what my opponent's got going on. Is this a crazy thing to Cobalt Acolyte? A Combri Stranger? Feels like it. Feels pretty awkward, but
To the skies.
it's going to do a really good job here. Saving us 2 life points a turn. I think I'm going to want to play Wisdom of Elders or whatever may come next turn.
The price of progress.
Okay, well now it's just doing a lot of work. Yeah. So I want to play Auric Sentry this turn, so it was important that I played the Combri Stranger last turn. And then this turn I'm going to play Lumen Defender. Okay, well, that's going to get them back in the game here. Pretty much have to trade off with this now, and then hope to draw something else for the next turn. What's it called? Paladin Oathbook? Yeah, Paladin Oathbook is pretty strong. Can't really think of any way to tear that down either.
Time heals all.
Here's 5 more life points for me, but I think we're dead. Okay.
Take to the skies.
Take to the skies, motherfucker. That is good. Cobalt Acolyte on a Lumen Defender is real strong, and a second Lumen Defender,
Time heals all.
we've got some time. I actually think I wanted to hold on to that Sigil there. I think the only Sigils I want to play are Primal right now, and only one more. Oh, that's going to give him a 5/5. Wow. Well, I have to take it. Yep. They'll start building up the other one now, but this is less damage. Yeah, that's why I should have held on to my Sigil, of course. Can trade this for, like, a Bold Adventurer. Maybe that's okay. Sure. Yeah, get in point. So once Bold Adventurer goes, that maybe opens up attacks for Auric Sentry.
Unburden yourself.
Alright, Karmic Guardian, not great. I do have some flyers myself, though. If I can draw and just make this Awakened Student bigger, I've got a 6/6 flying lifesteal. I also have +2/+4 flying and Aegis, which I can draw right now. Okay, the 6/6 lifesteal. I'll take it.
Give my life for his.
Got a decent flying defense held up in this deck. Fortunately, I can't really attack with this because then my opponent gets to crack back for exponentially more eventually. Oh, well, now I can. Okay. If they just attack with the Aspirant, then I let that slide. But now we get to trade Wasp for Karmic Guide, which is solid. Alright, Flying Endurance. No more attacks for me. I will get to play Wisdom of the Elders here, though. And what else do you got for me? +2, +4, and flying? Not yet.
We shall find the way.
Alright.
Let's gather.
Oh, you know what? This is actually horrible for me. My opponent just gets to attack with this. I get to block it once. But then the next time they attack with it, it's getting in there. Alright, well that's just going to trade off with Lumen Defender. Oh, I don't think my opponent realized they can just attack with their Endurance creature for free here. Yeah, Lumen Defender, go. Do I want to do that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want to just trade off my 2/1s? Yeah. I think my Lumen Defender is actually better in case my opponent just starts to... or just decides to start sending in those guys. Just keep playing my land here. Yeah, if my opponent ever realizes that they can just attack with their 4/6, it'll become a 5/7. I block and we bounce off each other. Alright, Echo Creature's no bueno. That's a 5/4. Yep. Towering Pod or whatever its name is. I'm gonna stop playing my lands at this point. Because I've got more Awakened Students in the deck, and I only have just a few more lands left. Oh, they've got the ultimate on this now. Okay. No blocks for sure. It's actually fine. My opponent actually didn't gain anything out of that attack. They can now attack with both of their creatures, but still kind of okay. I am going to double back on that and play a land here, though. Now they finally realize they can turn that guy into a 5/7. I think a double attack could have also been reasonable as an answer from my opponent there. Clearly have no attacks at this point. Nor do I have any blocks. My opponent can just start swinging for 12 at some point. They're going to get that guy just a little bit beefier. Yeah, I would have loved to return my Cobalt Acolyte to my hand. You can take a little bit more damage here. At some point, my opponent might make an attack that is too bold. Doesn't look like that time has come just yet, though.
Mind over body.
My Awakened Student's not even racing his Oath Book. I think my opponent will double attack here. It's lethal. I have to block. Which I think means I have to teleport. Yeah, this one's not looking good. Okay. So pretty sure I just bounced the Owl, take 7. If I bounce this, they could, like, replay it. It only costs 1 mana to replay it. Then they could ultimate it again. This at least costs them their turn to replay this card. Not sure what I can draw here, even.
Mind over body.
Not dead next turn, though, either, which is important to realize, because I still get to gain 6 life.
Mind over body.
Guess I attack with a 9/9. I have no cards in hand, so, like, I don't know who I am fooling here. Yeah, here my opponent attacks with both their flyers. Chump block the 1. Gonna go down to 6 life points here. This guy's gonna turn back on. Draw another Awakened Student. I guess I just play it
Mind over body.
and attack with everything and say good game. Alright, could not quite get there. 5-1 with the Awakened Students. Lose a little bit of draft juice. Still feeling good about this deck. It's not a 7-0 either, which I have actually, I looked at my stats. I thought my previous Awakened Student draft was a 7-0. It was not. So, still chasing that 7-0 dream. I'm going to redraw a hand with Wisdom of Elders, and no, no blue mana. This hand's perfectly acceptable, though. No blue mana for our double Primal Sigil, but an Awakened Student. So, I'm happy. And then I draw the Primal Sigil. Well, you know what? If this hand ain't perfect now, I'm going to play around Static Bolt. This time I'm giving away 3 points of damage because I'm not playing a Stranger this turn.
Mind over body.
Mind over body. And I think I'm going to want to silence or Permafrost rather, a Sky Snapper. Represents a decent amount of damage here. And we don't have any flyers. You've had one 7-0 draft, Strax? Yeah, not super common. And I think I'm going to Permafrost this guy as well. But once I Permafrost both these guys, man, if I'm not feeling really good about our position here. Another Awakened Student? Well, this looks like a good one. Yeah, I've had a few 7-2s or what have you. Yeah, my opponent's got a sweet deck, a lot of flyers, but I've just got a lot of Awakened Students. Smack for 9, put my opponent down to 12. Everything in my deck is a live draw, and sigils are fine. I'll take more sigils. I think they'll eventually win us the game too. My opponent has not played a single ground creature. Yeah, Permafrost, Permafrost, Awakened Student, lands for days. Sounds great to me. Especially because in draft, you can't play a Twilight Raptor turn 1. Because there's no seats in draft. There's only banners. Alrighty. Well, that was a quick one. Got some juice back. I don't think we're going to get enough juice out of this draft with only one more potential win. But we are 6-1 here. And killing it with the students. Sandwhale commented, if you trigger a Lumen Shepherd's Fate ability to make a 1/1 Wisp, then you can play a Felm Banner and play a turn 1 Twilight Drake. Very cute, very cute. And I guess that's probably the only way to do it. I'm thinking, like, there's no other fast mana in the game. There's a card that makes your spells cost 1 less. But I believe that only works for what we'd actually think of as spells. This hand seems great. We've got the perfect mana for the Permafrost. We've got the double green already. That's a great hand. Yeah, Lumen Shepherd for the banner just to just to turn on your Felm Banner. Seems like a long shot. Stomps, hello and best of luck to you. But Mind over Body, I have to say, I think is going to get there this game. Wowie zowie.
Mind over body.
Yeah, this is a good way to finish it up here. Just Just, turn 1, Awakened Student, turn 2, Awakened Student, turn 3, Awakened Student? Show me Awakened Student. Alright, unlucky. Game sucks. Game's rigged.
Safe travels, friend.
I want to play Lumen Shepherd next turn, but... Or Lumen Defender next turn. Got confused with the Sand Whale comment. Alright.
My forge is ready.
Yeah. That's going to take out both of our guys, actually, right? Alright, that's how you end it there. 7-1. My opponent had a way to turn my 4-4 into something that was potentially stronger, but unfortunately for them, we got a legendary creature. So that's going to be a 7-1 draft with quintuple Awakened Students. Let's crack open some chests here.